Hello friends, today I want to show you how to work with the Runway collection when you have a family indoor session. The Runway collection is one of the most underrated, amazing preset collections ever. It's actually one of my favorite preset collections and I use it all the time. I use it all the time for indoor portraits, for boudoir, and I use it all the time for the outside. I use my Fashion BW3 all the time because it's my favorite black and white preset for the outside. I'm going to go through all of my presets in that collection and to show you what it does with a one click, and then I'm going to start editing to my taste. Okay, so this is this photo. These are not my photos. Ashlyn Hale, my admin, she was nice enough to give me some of her amazing work so I can show you how to work with these presets. So this is the Berlin preset, and then you have some of the black and whites here, and those are all one clicks. Then you have the LA, which is a little bit more colorful, and London, which is a little bit more brown and muted tones. You have the Milan with cyan and blue tones. And then you have the New York. How is it? New York right here. You have the Paris, which is also bluish. And then you can reset them all, and you can also reset the grain. Okay, so let's go to Berlin because I instantly like the skin tones on this. And what I do not like here is the grain. So I can here go on reset the grain, or we can just scroll down here to grain and just turn it all off. Yeah. So this basically is already like a perfect photo, guys. If you want to brighten it up a little bit, I suggest not lifting the exposure. I suggest lifting up the shadows, okay? Or the blacks. In this case though, if you want like a creamier skin texture, you can go to the presence panel here and play with the texture slider. I show you again what the texture slider does. If you put it all the way down, it takes away all of the texture. It becomes like a blurry, dreamy photo. We don't want that. If I put it all the way to the right, it becomes the opposite. We don't want that either. So what we're going to do is we're just going to slide it down a little bit just to make the skin really, really like creamy looking. We go to the clarity and pull it up just a tiny bit. We don't need to mess with the dehaze here. So then we go to the noise reduction, and we're pulling the noise reduction up and putting the contrast up a little bit, not much, and then pulling the color up a little bit, not much. So this is how we gotten like some creamy skin tones right here. You see that? Okay, so I am not going to worry about the red patches right here or the red patches in the baby's face. Hold on, what's going on? We can go into the saturation and the luminance and the hue, and we can play with the orange and yellow sliders. Maybe turn down the red a little bit with the saturation. Let's see what it does. Just a tiny bit, not too much. And then orange, you can pull the orange up and down, not too much because you know you can make people look dead. So we're gonna turn it down. We're gonna leave it. Yellow, same thing. Don't play with the yellow too much, but you can see the changes here. And actually I like it when I turn off the yellow, what the tones do. Have you noticed that? I'll show you again. So let me tell you this, it always makes sense to play with presets. Presets give you like an amazing base for an amazing edit, and then you can just adjust. You should always adjust to your liking. For example, like right now, I turned down all the yellow and I just love the result. So I'm going to keep it like this. Then I'm going to go into the sharpening and sharpen all the way. I'm going into masking, control, and option because I don't want to sharpen absolutely everything. I want to have control over what I'm sharpening. And I'm going to sharpen the surroundings, and that's it. So basically, let's see before and after. This is an edit with creamy tones. Turn that down, turn on the exposure a little bit to make it a little bit more moody, and I love it. And guys, this is with the Runway. This is not with a Wanderlust or anything else. This is with the Runway collection. So let's go to this photo and let's pull up the presets again. Let's click on Berlin, pull up the exposure, and it's already perfect as it is. To me personally, this would be like a one click for me. The black and white, same thing. We don't want to really pull stuff in black and white right now. The LA would be something that you have to tweak a little bit more, but I do love the tones here. Amazing. London, same thing. Pull up the exposure and pull up the shadows to see what you have. I like this, guys. I really like the moody look here. Then the Milan. The Milan and the Paris I use a lot for boudoir. Put on the shadows, the blacks in there. But you can also use it for babies. But I would maybe change your white balance, make it a little bit warmer. In this way, that white balance would make it cooler. But you can always, like, you know, try to make it warmer by sliding the temperature slider up a little bit more. And I love this. Then you could basically turn up the contrast a little bit more. And if you want, you can add some grain. That's what I would do. Add a little bit of grain. Just play around, see what you like. But where was I? I was at Milan, right? So let's reset this and go back to next one, New York. And this is also amazing. So the Runway collection is amazing for indoor photos because it's not so extreme. The contrast is not extreme, and the grain is not extreme, and it's not so invasive. So it works pretty well with indoor photos. Let's do the Paris. Paris has really nice tones too. And I really love the muted look here. And you know what? Let me edit the photo how I would like to have it. Because I think I want to keep this like a little bit moody and muted. So I like, this was LA, right? I love the tones LA gives me here, but you see right here, I have to work too much on skin tones. So I'm gonna keep it with one of the other presets. This one, London. I love it. Turn it up a little bit. Flex up a little bit. So actually, I think that's how I want to keep this photo. Pull down the texture just a tiny bit. Clarity is good for me right now. And I want a little bit more saturation, so I'm saturating it a little bit, a tiny bit, like this. Pull down the shadows a little bit more, no, keep them up. Always play around a little bit. Guys, I do the same thing, you know? Everybody who edits plays around a little bit, and then you just have to make a decision eventually on how you want your whole session, or like, let's say, a set from a session to look. And I just want to sharpen this because I like this. I like the grain. I just want to sharpen it. Let's do this. Don't sharpen it too much. And I think this is how I would keep this photo right here because it looks so filmy. I love it. So my style. But you might like something else. So right now everything's 40% off, and I would suggest just, you know, trying out different preset collections and find your style while doing so. Thanks for watching.